Do you believe in paranormal events? It is often said that these incidents are beyond our realm and scientific understanding. Have you ever come across a house that had dark evil spirits living there since ages? If not, then let us tell you a story about the haunting in Connecticut, where dark evil spirits reside and rule the house since ages. What do you think the evil spirits want from the people living in Connecticut? The haunting in Connecticut is a chilling tale of a family's struggle with supernatural forces and their journey to unravel the mystery of the haunted house. It combines elements of horror, mystery, and psychological thriller to create a suspenseful and eerie viewing experience for audiences. The story starts when the Campbell family, consisting of Sarah, Peter, and their 3 children, Matt, Mary, and Billy, moved to a new home in Connecticut. They wanted to settle down closer to a cancer treatment center for Matt, who was undergoing experimental treatment for his illness. Upon moving into the new home, the family starts experiencing strange and disturbing events that were terrible. Matt, who was already suffering from the side effects of his treatment, becomes increasingly disturbed by ghostly apparitions and disturbing visions. Therefore, noticing all this, Sarah discovers that it was once a funeral home run by a mortician who was involved in necromancy and the occult. She finally realizes that the house is haunted by dark and evil spirits connected to its dark past, and that her family is caught in the middle of a paranormal nightmare. They soon decides to seek help from Reverend Popescu, a local priest who specializes in dealing with supernatural occurrences. Soon, with his assistance, they try to uncover the truth about the house and its dark history, hoping that it might protect them from the malevolent forces that are determined to harm them. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Matt chooses a room in the basement because it has a mystery door. After moving to a new house, Matt begins to experience a string of images that feature an elderly guy with a beard and bodies with symbols etched into their skin. Later, when the family gets home, they discover Matt naked and his fingernails covered in blood from scratching the wall. As the supernatural events escalate, Matt's health deteriorates rapidly, and the family's sanity is pushed to its limits. It was high time for them to come together to confront the terrifying truth about the house and its inhabitants, and find a way to free themselves from the grip of the haunting. Moving further to our story, in response to the strain of Matt's illness and strange behavior, the family starts to fall apart. Peter and Sarah get informed that Matt's cancer treatments have failed, and they discover that Matt has escaped the hospital. When Nicholas returns to the house, he leaves a message warning the family to leave the building right away, stating that one of their friend, who was a ghost, was actually guarding them from the ghosts. Matt uses the front room's walls to disclose the skeletal remains the evil spirit had concealed there with an axe. Matt lights the bodies and the room on fire. Later on, investigators arrive at the house to only find it engulfed in flames. Sarah and Peter crazily try to enter the building to save Matt, but soon the fire extinguishers arrive. The souls vanish after being liberated. Everyone outside observes the emergency team's efforts to revive a dying Matt with tears in their eyes. Well, the movie ends here, but let us tell you a few more interesting facts about it. The Haunting in Connecticut was a commercial success, and the film grossed over $77 million worldwide against its reported budget of $10 million. Making it a profitable venture for the producers. In its opening weekend in the United States, the film grossed approximately $23 million, debuting at number 2 at the box office. Now let us discuss the true story behind it. The movie was loosely based on the story we are going to discuss, but the true story has something different from that shown in the movie. Well, the story starts with Carmen and Alan Snedeker. Their 3 boys, their daughter, and 2 nieces move into a house in Southington, Connecticut. After learning that the eldest Snedeker kid had Hodgkin's lymphoma, the family decided to relocate to Connecticut to be closer to his doctors and save money, but unfortunately, they had no idea that the house they are going to live into had originally been a funeral home, with the equipment and bloodied furnishings still in one of the basement rooms. Soon they found out the reality, but the Snedekers still chose to move into the house despite learning of this horrific and depressing modification. Many people think they decided to remain there because it was more cost-effective to do so than to acquire a new home large enough to accommodate everyone in their family, which was not affordable for them. The horror came into place when the mother first noticed objects disappearing from various parts of the house, which was when strange things at the house began to happen. Then the kids began to mention unexpected visitors to their house, notably a man with long black hair. The oldest son then underwent a dramatic personality change, complete with violent outbursts. He suddenly started attacking members of the family and didn't appear to be himself. As per the doctors, he was dealing with schizophrenia, but his family was not convinced of this medical condition. They thought that the atmosphere and the spirits in the house were responsible for his bizarre and frightful behavior. Later, the parents' accusation that they had been raped and sodomized by something in the house was probably the oddest incident the family recorded. People assumed that the family's experiences were all made up because they didn't understand why they would stay at a place where they had gone through such horrific things. While the family continued to live there for 2 more years, when things didn't get better in the home, the family invited a pair of paranormal investigators to assist in ridding their home of the evil inside of it, named Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren were a controversial pair of self-taught paranormal investigators based out of Connecticut. They were self-described demonologists and ghost hunters. After the investigation, they concluded that the morticians who worked in the house when it was a funeral parlor engaged in necromancy and had infused the home with a deep evil, and the exorcism was required to be performed to get rid of these evil spirits. The exorcism was performed, and it is said the house is no longer haunted now. In a Dark Place, the story of a true haunting, written by horror author Ray Garton in 1992, is where the Snedeker's tale originally surfaced. Garton talked about how the true story behind the haunting in Connecticut came to be in an interview with Horror Bound magazine. Ed and Lorraine Warren hired Garton to collaborate with the Snedekers and write the authentic account of their house. All of the family members were questioned about their personal experiences, and he quickly discovered that something was wrong. He said that he noticed that the individual Snedeker's tales did not exactly fit as the narratives given by them jumbled. He soon took this issue to Ed, but Ed denied his point. Even though the Snedekers stand by their account, according to Garton, there is little or no evidence to support any paranormal activity at the house. He claimed that the Snedekers just wanted to earn high profits through their story, claiming it to be true through the book written by him, even if it was not true. And he said he wrote the book because he was said to do that by Ed and Lorraine. But it is hard to come to a conclusion that whether it was a true story or not, because numerous times they have appeared in interviews, including national TV programs as in Discovery Channel. Did you find this story horrific and interesting? Comment below and tell us how you would react if you were in the same situation.